Hi, welcome to yoga. Today I'm working on a postpartum, 20 minutes about, because most moms don't have a whole lot of time to do some yoga. So it's important to take a few minutes for yourself, and we're going to focus on some core. And so come onto your hands and your knees, come into tabletop position. Hands are underneath the shoulders, the index fingers are pointing straight ahead, and the fingers are spread like the rays of the sun. Your knees are underneath your hips. First, let your chest sink towards the mat, and as you do that, your shoulder blades will come towards each other on your back, towards the spine. Now pull that belly in and up towards your spine. And then you can either, if you're more comfortable curling the toes under behind you, you can do that, or you can let the toenails rest. And then as you inhale, bring your chest forward through the gateway of your arms and let the hips rise up as you lift the shoulders, you lift your gaze with your deep inhale, and then as you exhale, make a big dome with that back. Round your back, tuck your chin towards your chest, your tailbone towards the mat, and your spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, do it again. Bring that chest forward and up. And then exhale. As you exhale, pull your belly in and up towards your spine. Looks like Doodle's going to join us. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Good. Turn your hands so that the top of your hand comes down to the mat and your fingers come close to your knees. And then go ahead and bend your elbows, and now let the toenails rest on the mat behind you, and go ahead and sit back as far back onto your heels as you're able to, trying to keep this top part of the hand down onto the mat, and then see if you can make a fist with those hands, with those fingers, and open and close the fist. You feel a stretch in the front of the wrist. Feels pretty good. And take a nice deep breath here. And exhale. And one more time. Good. Come back up to tabletop position and bring your knees a little bit closer to each other. Now on your inhale, I want you to think about this core, pulling this belly up. Good. Get rid of my muffin top. Pull the pants up as high as they'll go. And then go ahead and extend your right leg straight back behind you. Now, as you extend that leg, you've got to pull the belly in. And then I want you to arch the back a little bit more and see if you can lift your leg a little bit higher. And as you lift the leg, imagine you're using the inner thigh to lift your leg. Now, this right hip will come up higher than the left hip. So I want you to try to even it out a little bit, lowering that right hip. Now pull the belly in, take a deep breath here. As you exhale, you're going to bring your knee in towards your nose. You can touch your nose if you're able to. If not, nobody cares. Inhale, lift that leg, and then exhale. Hug the belly in towards the spine. Inhale. And you might even kind of push that last bit of breath out. And one more time, take it out, lift it up, and bring it in. And then bring the knee back down. Same thing, other side. So get yourself stable. Lift that left leg, pull that belly in. Really pull that belly in. Now you can lift a little higher and extend your chest forward, your collarbones forward. Look up, lift your gaze. Maybe lower that left hip a little bit. Take a deep breath and bring the knee in towards the chest or towards the nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, push that breath out. Inhale, extend. And push the breath out. And the higher that you lift that leg, the more you pull the belly in, keeping that core strong. You just had a baby. That's a little bit hard to do. It's okay. It's going to happen. It's a journey. Now take a moment and curl your toes under behind you. And we're going to sit back on our heels. And just so you know, I hate this pose. And I had surgery on my foot, so it's actually good for me, so that's why I'm doing it. So interlace your fingers right here and press your palms forward. Now lift your arms all the way up and place those hands behind your head. Tilt your tailbone way back there, tilt your chest up so your spine's in a really big arch, and pull your belly in. Take a breath here. And exhale slowly, pull that belly in again, and think about the ribs. You'll notice that your ribs kind of pop out, so I want you to try to pull the rib in. Think of a corset. Thank God we don't have to wear corsets, but think of you're using your own muscles to create that corset, pulling the rib cage in. Take a deep breath. Exhale, reach up, bring your hands forward, come back onto tabletop, and from here, you're going to either you can step your hands forward a little bit if you want to. We're going to come to plank. So step those feet back, maybe one at a time, and come into a plank pose. Now, make sure that your shoulders are a little tiny bit in front of the wrists. So maybe, I don't know, an inch or so. And then, like we did before in tabletop, let the shoulder blades come together on your back so your chest sinks down towards the mat. Now, tuck your tailbone down towards the mat as you kick your back of your thighs up towards the ceiling, and then bring your chest forward between your arms and breathe. And as you exhale, really pull that belly in and up towards your spine. Take a deep breath, and now we're going to come right into downward dog. So lift your hips up high, feet are about hip width apart. And take your time. Some people like to walk out the backs of the legs. Some people like to be static. You do what you want to do. But before you do that, I want you to bend your elbows just a teeny tiny bit out to the side. Maybe like an inch or two maybe. That's going to enable you to let the shoulder blades come together on your back, come towards each other on your back. Then, slowly, as you straighten the arms, you're going to bring the elbows in towards each other. So if you need to stop the video and see what I'm doing, you can do that, or just rotate those elbows in towards each other. Then push your hands forward to push those hips way up there and back, and then go ahead and walk out the backs of those legs. It's really easy to master one thing, so thinking of the arms, the shoulder blades, and then all of a sudden if you become aware, you realize that belly is relaxed. We don't want to relax that belly. I want you to bring your belly in and up towards your spine. So you're really not moving much, but you're probably working pretty hard. Now bring your big toes to touch back there behind you, and lift this right leg up as high as you can lift it. Look forward between your hands. You're going to use some momentum and sweep this right foot all the way forward to the inside of your right hand. Keep your left hand on the mat as you twist to the right. Now, again, I want you to think of this core, pull it in, extend those collarbones forward, and go ahead and turn the shoulders to the right. Reach the right hand up. Think about even lengthening the neck. Imagine there's a string kind of pulling your head forward. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't over twist. Just twist as far as you can. Feel that little bit of a release in the low back. You can extend the collarbones forward. You almost create like a cow arch in your back. Take a deep breath here. Go ahead and bring that right hand down. And we're going to step all the way back to plank again and slowly lower to your knees. And then come forward a little bit at an angle. You can let your hips come down first and lower all the way down to your belly. Sweep your arms back behind you. Give your wrists a little roll around. Just give them a little break and interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Good. Now pull your belly in. Now lift your legs and breathe. If you're breathing abdominally, you'll notice that you rise up with your inhale, and you lower down with your exhale. One more. Good. Slowly release your hands. Keep your feet up off the floor, and imagine a rocking chair the rockers on the rocking chair. Your toes are still up, but bring your hands by the lower ribs. Bring the elbows in and move the shoulders away from the ears. And you're going to push your chest up until your toenails come to the mat. And you're in a cobra. Take a deep breath. You can come to your hands and your knees and then up to downward dog, or you can come to a plank and then up to downward dog. Your choice. Nice deep breaths here. Pull that belly in. Let the shoulder blades slide towards each other. Draw your elbows in towards each other. That's an external rotation of the upper arms. One more breath. Bring your big toes to touch. Sweep this left leg way up there and sweep it forward inside of your left hand, keeping your right hand onto the mat. Let's take a little twist to the left. Breathe in. See if you can kick your right thigh a little bit higher towards the ceiling. Then extend your collarbones forward. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, maybe you can twist just a little more. You can even see if you can draw your left hip back a little more. Breathe in. Breathe out. And in. And out. And one more breath, and really try to pull that belly in towards your spine. As you exhale, bring your left hand down, step back to plank. Good, lower all the way down. And you are up for a chaturanga, you go right ahead. We're just gonna lower to the belly. And this time I want you to let your hands hover just above the mat. Inhale, first, lift your chest. Now pull that belly in again and go ahead and lift the legs. Now try to move your elbows in towards your side, get the shoulders away from the ears, and you might notice I'm kind of looking forward a little bit. So I want to look down so that my neck is in its natural alignment. Now just like that we did before, think about the rocking chair, but first pull your belly in and take a deep breath, and as you exhale, push till your toenails touch the mat. Bend the elbows a little bit. I see a lot of this in Cobra in classes. Notice my shoulders are up, my arms are straight. We don't want that. You want to bend the elbows, keep the elbows in towards your side, make the shoulders move away from the ears, and breathe. Pull the belly in. Nice deep breath here. You can come to plank. You can come to your hands and your knees. Get up to downward dog, however you're able. So I'm going to come to my hands and my knees. Then I'm going to come to plank. And then up to downward dog. Nice deep, deep breath here. And exhale. Inhale again. And go ahead and walk your feet all the way up to your hands. You can jump if you want to. I'm just going to walk. You can come into a half forward fold, bringing the hands to the shins, extending the spine parallel to the floor, or you can keep your fingertips on the floor. Just make sure you have your hands or your fingers on something. They're not just hovering. Take a deep breath. And then exhale. Go ahead and float forward over those legs. Cross your arms, or you can cup the opposite elbow of each hand and let your head and your neck completely relax. Imagine the heaviness of the head is helping to stretch the back of the body. Make sure you have a tiny little bend in your knees so that you're not hyperextending your knees. And take a breath. Inhale. And exhale. Now you're going to take your arms and try to rotate around to the left side of your mat and see if you can get the forearms parallel to this left side of the mat. Now take a deep, deep breath here and slowly see if you can bend your left knee. You won't be able to bend it very much, but you'll feel that stretch in that outer right hip. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in and out. And then slowly you're going to rotate around to the right so the forearms are as close to parallel to the right side of the mat as you can get. And then see if you can bend the right knee a little bit more, taking that stretch into the left hip. And think about your core again. As you exhale, you're going to very gently Pull it in and up towards the spine. Inhale. Exhale. And one more, inhale. And then slowly rotate back in front of your legs. Let your hands float towards the mat. Big toes are touching. Come into a chair pose. Good. I want you to reach as high as you can. If you got any shoulder issues, just bring your arms out in front with your palms up. Sometimes that feels a lot better, and you can focus on moving your hips back and lifting your heart. And maybe see if you can flex your toes off of the mat. Take another breath here. And as you exhale, fold forward over those legs. Exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Exhale, fold. You're going to lift that right leg. Reach your hands forward so that they're underneath your shoulders. See if you can extend your collarbones forward. Now you'll notice that right hip's probably higher than the left hip. So you might need to bend this left knee, that's fine. But see if you can rotate that right hip closer towards the mat. So it's a rotate down. Take a deep breath here. Lift the right leg a little bit higher. Pull the belly in. Come into a lunge. Rise all the way up. Inhale. Now to get a deeper, stretch. My hair's tickling my nose. I gotta scratch it. To get a deeper stretch in this hip flexor, push off the foot so that you're more onto the toes and the ball of the foot. It's so subtle, you can push off so that right heel lifts, and it feels like you're coming forward. You are coming forward a little bit. Lift your heart, take a breath here. From here, we're gonna open up into Warrior Two. So just open up those arms, pivot your right heel down. The left knee is bent. The right leg is strong and straight. Move those shoulder blades towards each other. Gaze over the left fingertips. Firm this back thigh, this right thigh. Take a breath. Track this left knee to the left. And reverse that warrior. Reach up. It's a side bend. Lift the heart. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Good. Windmill your arms all the way down. You're going to step back to plank pose. Pivot that back foot. Step back to plank. Lower down. All the way down to your belly. Let the hands hover. Lift the legs, lift the chest. Breathe in, inhale. Exhale. Rocking chair up to Cobra. Plank to downward dog. Deep breath. Walk your feet forward. Half forward fold. Inhale. Full forward fold. Exhale. Chair. See if you can sit back a little bit. Again, if your shoulders are bothering you, bring them parallel to the floor. Don't want you to hurt yourself. Take a deep breath here. Fold forward. Exhale. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold, and inhale. Take this left foot back, kind of like an airplane pose, or a modification of Warrior 3. And make sure your hands or fingers are underneath your shoulders. Now, my left hip, I know it's a little higher. I can just feel that it's a little higher than my right hip, so I'm going to rotate it down, and that's going to intensify the stretch in my right hip, but align me right. Now pull the belly in. See if you can pull the rib cage in. Take a deep breath and step back into your lunge. Rise up into a high crescent lunge. Pushing off that back foot, or I guess lifting the heel, bringing the heel forward, and kicking that left thigh a little bit higher up towards the ceiling. That's going to deepen that hip flexor stretched. Breathe in. See if you can relax your shoulders. Breathe out. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere, like in your jaw and your shoulders, in your face, anywhere. Take a breath. Open up, Warrior Two. So pivot your left heel down, right knee's bent, left leg is straight. tracking this right knee, open to the right. Take a moment and focus on the breath. One more. Reverse your warrior. It's a side bend, remember, not a back bend. If you deeply bend this right knee, you'll feel this more intensely down the right side of your waist. One more breath. Windmill your arms all the way down. Stepping back to plank. Lowering knees, belly. And now, take your block. You're going to need a block. And you're going to place it at the top of the mat so that it's at the tallest level. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders so you're coming into a Sphinx pose. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is just gently pull the belly in up towards the spine. Then I'm going to have to move my block, so I just have to get in just the right spot so that my forehead right here can rest and press down onto this block. Then press your elbows into the mat. As you do that, the elbows want to come up towards the ears, so move them back away from the ears. Again, moving those shoulder blades towards each other on your back, and push your elbows. Now push your head into the mat. And you'll notice when you push your head and your elbows into the mat, the lower belly starts to come up off of the mat. Now push your thighs and your knees into the mat. Don't forget to push the head and the arms. And again, I can feel my shoulders moving towards my ears, so I want to move them back and pull that belly in. And again, this is a lot like that corset feeling. So you're using your own muscles. You're pulling that belly in. Now, go ahead and squeeze the Kegel muscle. Breathe in. Breathe out. Push those thighs into the mat, and so that the hips start to lift up off of the mat. And you can really feel that. Take a breath. Now, take a moment and relax. And go ahead and slowly lift your head. You'll feel, if you feel any pinching in your lower back, then move the block out of the way. Make a little pillow with your hands and wiggle your hips from side to side, just to loosen up that low back. If you want to stay with that little arch, that Cobra arch in your back, you go right ahead. Now, set up for one more time, just like you're going to do Cobra. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. I'm going to make sure the block's in the right place so I can put my forehead on it. Palms are down. The first thing I'm going to do is push my head into the block, then the elbows, and move the shoulders back, moving the shoulder blades back down towards my back. And then I'm going to push my push my thighs and my knees into the mat. My head's pushing into the block, and that's slowly lifting my hips up. And I'm really using my core, pulling that belly in, and now squeeze the Kegel muscle. All those core muscles are all connected, the belly, the pelvic floor. But I also say, if you have some more serious pelvic floor issues, some separation, diastasis rectus abdominis, where the separation of the abdominal muscles from being pregnant, and it's not going back on its own, you need physical therapy, not just exercises. Now, once again, I'm going to take a deep breath. As I exhale, I'm going to pull that belly in towards my spine. One more. And relax. And just like we did before, you can stay there if you want, or you can make a pillow with your hands. Wiggle your hips from side to side. Good. And then go ahead and come to your hands and your knees. Crawling forward, we're going to lie on our back. Do one last pose before Shavasana. So go ahead and lie down. Cross your right leg all the way over your left leg like you got to go potty real bad. Push your left foot into the mat to pick your hips up and move your hips to the right 4 inches. Take your arms out to the side, perpendicular to your body. And as you take a deep breath, pull that belly in. And as you exhale, let your knees go all the way over to the left side of your mat. You want an equal distance from the floor, from the mat,
Your right shoulder should be an equal distance as your right knee is from the floor. So you can see my right shoulder's off the floor a couple of inches. My right knee is, yep, I'm checking it. I can push my right shoulder down and push my right knee down if I'm flexible enough, but never force anything in yoga. Take a deep, deep breath. You can hold this longer if you want to, or come on out, uncross the legs, shift your hips back to the very center of your mat and cross the left leg all the way over the right leg. Pushing the right foot into the mat, pick your hips up, move them 4 inches to the left and put them back down. Take a deep breath, pull that belly in. As you exhale, let the knees go over to the right. And again, check that your left knee and your left shoulder are an equal distance from the floor. So you might have to adjust yourself a little bit. You'll notice if you stay there and just breathe, you'll notice the lengthening in the muscles happening. And then try to release tension. Breathing in and out. Now, if you have any low back issues and lying on your back doesn't feel good, either roll up a yoga blanket or even another yoga mat, or place a couple of pillows right behind your knees. And then slowly unwind, shifting the hips back to the center of the mat. Hug the knees in towards the chest one last time and gently rock side to side. You're welcome to do happy baby if you want to. That's always a good one. But then stretch your legs out, and if you've got those low back issues, place pillows, blocks, rolled up towel, blanket, mat underneath your knees, and you guys are going to lie here for as long as you want. And hopefully you've activated that core. And I'm going to say namaste and thank you so much for joining me.